I've got a great opportunity to put crass into practice. I feel pretty calm, but they told me the wrong backhaul address. They said Bethlehem, and then they called me later at home and said Scranton. And so this morning my delivery trip report said Bethlehem again. And the dispatch person on duty for Graveyard didn't want to go against what the day shift dispatch guy said. He's in charge of everybody. So they defer to him, which is fine, but he's asleep. So I'm supposed to go to Keysby, New Jersey, and then from what he told me yesterday, up to Scranton. And anyway, it's disturbing because I think I'm on the autism spectrum a little bit. I think that kind of stuff, it isn't right. It isn't the way it's supposed to be. It isn't great. I have a couple of children who kind of act like that or feel like that, overwhelmed when things aren't perfect, aren't the way they're supposed to be. And so this is a good chance for me to just go with the flow. I get paid by the hour, so if I'm hundreds of miles in the wrong direction, it's no skin off my butt. And I gotta say that and think that, but then I have to feel that.
Here I am again, future self from North Carolina, editing lots of videos because I'm sitting here, and I have been sitting here since last night. It's a good opportunity for that person to come out, that confident, relaxed, assured, strong, and steady person. Because if I am on the autism spectrum, nothing could help me more than waiting at a shipper or a receiver to get unloaded or loaded, especially if you haul perishables. Ask anyone.
Just so I don't forget, the Samsara GPS thinks that it's 25 miles per hour in a 70 mile per hour zone in two places going eastbound. It's right before the Norristown interchange and right before the Willow Grove interchange. Both places it says you're doing 70 and a 25. Beautiful sunrise coming. Thought you should see it. There are a lot of other lights though. I don't know if my light on me makes the sunrise look worse or better. Can you see that truck? Apple Acres, 1911, premium small batch hard cider. I didn't know that kind of stuff went to ShopRite. Of course, I'm from Oregon. Maybe Oregon also has alcohol in grocery stores now. I think it's a good development. That is such good advertising. I look at all those flavors and I think, oh, that's what I need to drive my truck better. Maybe not. Look at that. Rose. Maple bourbon barrel. Cranberry. That's the one that first caught my eye. Looks like one of them is waffle flavor. Oh, that's maple bourbon. Yeah, that looks pretty good. It really all comes down to healing wounds. We have such deep-seated wounds from our childhoods, maybe from our soul's histories. And these wounds keep us away from bliss and from manifesting what we want in life, of treating other people with respect and care, because our own wounds create such deep-seated needs in us that we sacrifice other people's needs to meet our own needs. that selfish, but because we're that desperate. Our wounds require so much attention, and we're not aware of them. They're under the surface, and we think what we're fulfilling is our needs, but really we're trying to put salve on our wounds. This is another road that has no right to exist because you can't drink coffee on it. I was thinking about the wounds that have been inflicted on me by my dad and parents, my codependent parents, and thinking about the wounds that were inflicted on them onto generations back, and then thinking about how to stop that pattern, thinking about my girlfriend, some of the wounds that she's been inflicted with, my own children, the wounds I've put on them, and the wounds they put on each other even, in some cases. And those wounds cause all kinds of trouble. Those wounds keep us from bliss. They keep us from getting for ourselves and for other people around us what we're after. So we have to deal with them. And they're not always out where we can deal with them. It takes a while to figure out what they even are. But it's a gift. Something to be grateful for when you're allowed to see the wound back in your past and how it manifests in your present. As you have the opportunity and you see these wounds, for me, I see the wounds I've inflicted on others and the wounds inflicted on me, and it makes me feel weepy. Then I look at the emotions and I shift them into neutral so I can look at what's causing them and have a fairly calm, rational response to them. And then I think about how to be more compassionate to other people, how to be compassionate to myself. And then I go through the day and figure out what it is in the present moment that's affected by the wounding that I've had in the past. And then as I work through the present moment, I can also work through the past wounds and see them for what they are. And I don't completely shift into neutral emotionally. I feel the emotions from the past. I allow those emotions to flow, but I don't allow them to sabotage what's going on. For example, to make me afraid of those emotions as a response to what's happening right now. And then I feel like I can deal with right now, and that makes me feel competent, and that helps the emotions from the past calm down. And it feels like they're being healed up too in that process, because being able to handle what's happening now shows me that I can, live with all the things that have happened in the past. I can forgive myself and I can forgive others, and in that forgiving, I feel that also I'm forgivable, and that leads to the conclusion, that leads to the point. If you can forgive, then you can be worthy, and others around you can be worthy. And when you feel worthy, you manifest a lot better for yourself and for others. Doors open that were shut. Opportunities present themselves that just seem to be completely elusive. All because you feel worthy of them. Shame, on the other hand, keeps you from feeling worthy. Shame wrecks your manifestations. It wrecks affects your relationships. It keeps you from being authentic because you're always hiding when you feel shame. And so when you heal the wounds and feel worthy, you take the shame away, and the shame evaporates, atomizes into a mist, and then blows away and doesn't trouble you anymore. When you're free of shame, when you feel worthy, just about anything good come to you and to the people around you. When I find myself overreacting to something that happens out of proportion to what would be reasonable for a reasonable person, I look back. I look at my chemicals, I look at my neurology, but I also look back at my past and my wounding, because they all can work together to screw with my life. So if I can figure out any of the 3 things to fix, the easiest is probably the woundings in the past. And then I don't get triggered, and then my chemicals stay calm, my mind stays calm, because nothing triggered their unreasonable responses. So when I'm in traffic, for example, and somebody creeps up behind me when I'm overtaking someone ahead of me, they creep up and then they sit there in my blind spot, or near enough to my back bumper that I can't safely pull over in front of them. They do it because they're afraid, and I think fear is attached to a lot of my childhood wounds. So then their fear transfers somehow. I'm not aware that I'm afraid, I'm just feeling angry, but there's probably a lot of fear and anger. And so there I have all this unreasonable garbage, and I'm trying to think, where did that all come from? And it didn't all come from the present moment. It came from all kinds of places. So when I connect to my past and my wounds of the past, I also connect, I've been trying this lately anyway, I connect to the people who are disturbing me and their wounds from their past. And as I see how they are and feel how they are, it makes me understand them more. It makes me feel more benevolent towards them. And obviously less angry when I feel good about, or not good, but I understand them. When I can understand them and forgive them, then I'm not angry. And then I'm more reasonable and everything works better. So the long and short of it is, I untrigger myself by getting back to something in the past that's probably contributing to the triggering in the present. And I untrigger the past first, and then that relaxes things in the present, and then I can get to a place where I feel more reasonable. 1 spinning. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, the 5th one isn't. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Spinning. Oh, more than that. 13. You'll have to take my word for it. Back on the left, there's one I missed. Everything I've said to this point equates to not being afraid of life. If you figure out how to feel about everything, one thing you won't feel is afraid. So you're just all-powerful then, because it doesn't even matter what is in your life. All that really matters is how you feel about it, because there's no reason to be afraid of death. We've covered that. No reason to be afraid of bankruptcy, because you probably won't die, but if you do, you're not afraid of that. And you're not afraid of losing the people you care about, because you can give yourself permission to figure out your new state of existence, your new circumstances, and you can see the advantages as well as the disadvantages. The main thing with grief is that you give yourself permission not to feel it. You can give yourself permission to feel it too, and that's healthy, that's fine. But despite the weird reactions from people around you, it's okay not to feel it. So the things we've been taught are catastrophic aren't necessarily so. We can be in the emotional state we choose no matter what. So all of that serves to eradicate fear. And if you're not afraid, then you can't be moved. Behind me, a few miles, is a roundabout. I've shown you those roundabouts before. They're on Highway 22. Behind me is a roundabout, the third of three so far on Highway 222 southbound. And I go through those with my four-ways on, taking up both lanes, because I have a 53-foot trailer and there's no way to keep it on one side or the other as you go through. So as I got around and I was swinging around to make the last part of the roundabout, some little dipshit came along, middle-aged, balding, fat dipshit, not that it matters. you can see what I'm dealing with here, and snuck up on my left side as I was coming around the last part of it, and I kept over onto the, it's not really a sidewalk because it has a gradual rise to it, so it doesn't really bump or anything, but, or not very much. But I slowed way down and scooted way over so I didn't crush the poor little motherfucker. And then I thought to myself, this is what we've been talking about. Have you conquered yourself here? Have you come to the place where you have a sense of humor about everything because nothing matters and you're not afraid of anything? And if not, be grateful. Here's another opportunity to practice. The stupid little shits that won't stay behind you because you're a truck, and you say to yourself, okay, I can see, I have felt that way before behind a truck. I get it. And they don't know any better, and they're afraid of life. They're afraid of delay or who knows what. They're rushing headlong to the end of their meager existence, and they want to get there as soon as possible, I guess. Just like I've been doing. That helps me to see that it's just like I've done. I'm no better. I'm just in the perspective of the person who doesn't want to crush them, and, or not very much anyway, maybe a little. And that other perspective is the one where the big old truck is in my way. I wish it wasn't in my way. So there we have a great opportunity for everybody involved, even just the people witnessing it. If they witness me with a sense of humor, that helps. It's all a good learning opportunity. When I see people with an elevated attitude, enlightened attitude, I'm impressed when I see that, and I think, I wish I were more like that, or, hey, I could be more like that. So, I'm hoping to do that for other people. So let's see what happens at the next roundabout in life. Perhaps I will shift into neutral more quickly. I'm going to try an experiment. I'm going to try not to react, to shift into neutral emotionally every time somebody cuts me off in traffic or impedes me or some other fuckery or ineptitude happens with dispatch, whatever happens. And I have a feeling that the adversaries will lose their shit. They will start to panic. No bully is a bully unless that bully is afraid. And when the bully stops being afraid, the bully stops being a bully. And adversaries too, they have to be afraid to do a good job at their job. There it is. Not limp.
In 3/4 of a mile, arrive at home, on the right.